on, guys? Brandon Flihan back with another YouTube video. Today we got a chest and a back day, some light arms, some light shoulders, kind of a whole body day. But we just wrapped up the day with clients and we did 10 straight. I've been out the house since 7 a.m. and just boys wrecked. But we're gonna give it our all and push as hard as we can. Ready, guys? Let's get it. So we got some pre-workout in us already. A little bit of niacin again. It's like my favorite supplement in the world. And then we got my meals for the day. I always pack try and pack 2 meals if it's a super long day. Maybe I'll bring that third one, but most of the time I'm bringing 2. Just in case, you never want to be out without your food, you know, especially on prep. Let's go get it, man. All right, so one of my main goals with getting back up on stage and starting this new journey, which I haven't even told you guys what show I'm gonna do or what my long-term goal is, and I wanna keep that for later videos because I'm not ready to fully, talk about what I'm doing yet. But I just want you guys to know that I'm gonna compete again. And my OG fans that followed me back in the day, or not fans, but followers or whatever, the people that are around me and know me and people online or whatever, know that I was in a realm of competing where I was doing 2 to 3 shows a year from 19 years old all the way to 23. And I took about a 3-year break and I just wasn't getting what I was wanting out of that. So now we're starting something fresh, something new, and I'm very excited. And I want to, by doing this and going this route and making this jump over to a new organization and a new federation, I want to really change the game. I know it's a bold statement, but I want to bring back that old school. I don't even know if I necessarily want to say bring back, because I want this to be like a look that people like, because I feel like bodybuilding got a little bit out of hand. The physiques are very big nowadays. Not that that's a bad thing, but I feel like the conditioning washed down a little bit. The cuts aren't deep and crazy looking. I want to bring back that small waist, old school kind of look with a modern era, lower body, thicker legs, with that thick, dense muscle, and just bring back some classic lines. And that's my whole goal here. I really, really want to just change the game. I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I don't know if that sounds cocky or not, but that's my whole goal with this. And right now I'm running a personal training business Monday through Thursday here in Las Vegas, which I'm busting out 10 to 12 clients a day. And it's amazing, but it's hard to train during those days because I'm on my feet all day. So I'm trying to bring more of the business online so I can get off my feet during the day, limit the clients to about 6 per day, and really hone in on training in these next couple of years of training. But what you guys are seeing right now is, climbing the ladder. We're at step 1 right now, and we're gonna go all the way to the top as far as God willing will let me. But we'll see what happens, man. But for today, let's get after it. So right now, I want to put on a lot of size. Obviously, that's the goal with all bodybuilders. Bodybuilding, we're trying to build, obviously. And while doing so, I mentioned last video, I have a lot of imbalances I want to work on. And I understand, genetically, it might just never be perfect. But before I pack on a lot of size and really hammer the weights and hammer the food, what I want to do is really try and balance out those imbalances and make everything flow, look pretty and aesthetic, instead of just getting big and blocky like these guys nowadays. No hate to them, to each his own. But just make everything flow better. And then once I feel like we're there, I think everything's coming together very nicely right now. Just I look at the updates and the progress pictures and stuff, and I myself am impressed, so that's always a good thing. But I think after this show, depending on how it goes, I want to really try and put on a little bit of size. But in the meantime, these next 8 weeks, I don't really expect much size-wise. About 210 right now, 215. And I want to just keep it right there and fine tune and, glide right into the show, get leaner, bring up the weak points and go from there.
Want to look sharp, right?
I want to look crispy. So today we got, like I said, the imbalance things. I have a new program we're running, kind of full bodies on Mondays, full bodies on Thursdays. Today's a Thursday. So we're starting with heavy chest and back, and then we're going to end with the lion arm. So you got shoulders and biceps and triceps. Let's do it. All right, so the first thing that's been a staple in my back routine lately has been a T-bar row. So check this out right here. I don't do the old school grip like you see most people do. What I try and do is I grab this bar right here. It's called the Black Widow bar. I think this is Flex Wheeler's bar actually. And I adjust it so it's real wide overhand. And I'm squeezing, so I'm grabbing double overhand like this and I'm squeezing the lower lats, trying to stretch on the way down, squeeze. And then we're gonna superset this motion with the chest press, a flat dumbbell chest press. Really trying to focus on the inner chest, the contraction. Monday's workout was extremely heavy. I think we played around with the 120s. I'm gonna try and dial it back a little bit, maybe the 80s, 90s, and just focus on the contraction, get some more reps. But let's get after it. Trying to come down and get a nice stretch in the pecs and then squeeze through. Pull the elbows together. So these workouts are super demanding. I mean, we're just warming up. You can see I'm already out of breath. And I do cardio pretty much 6 days a week right now. So as we get heavier and closer to the show, it gets more intense and heavier and whatnot. And the workouts just get harder and harder. But it's part of the fun, man. I enjoy it. I love it. So now we're gonna break into some working sets. We're gonna get a little heavier. And if you guys follow me on the gram for the past couple of years, I broke into some like really heavy lifts. Some powerlifting type stuff, some deadlifts. I love deadlifts, my favorite workout. But the goals are completely shifted. It's not about weight right now. It's not about, clanking and banging. All we're doing the whole time, like a working set for me is, what do we got on here? We got 100 pounds on the T-bar row. So it's not like crazy weight, but every single rep you can see on my contractions, like through every rep I'm contracting as deep and as hard as I can, even on the chest. Slow, controlled, deep as possible we can. We want to minimize injury and we want to grow the muscle. We want to mentally connect with what we're working. So remember that when you're doing it on your own. It's not about, I pressed the 150s today. No, like on Monday, for example, when I went heavy, the 120s was my working weight for a set of 8 to 10. And it was slow, clean, crisp reps. It wasn't like throwing stuff and bouncing all this stuff like that. It doesn't work with bodybuilding. So make sure you slow the pace down. Keep your workouts intense, obviously, between sets. You want your rest period down, but you want the deep contractions in between every single rep, and make them clean, make them crispy. That's the thing, crispy. Here we go. It's hard to move a lot of weight. It's hard to exercise after you've been on your feet all day. But we're getting the job done. Gotta find another 25. I gotta walk across the gym. Give me one sec. The big thing with this that I'm trying to do, and you guys also should implement in your guys' training is, I mean, if you're a bodybuilder, I'm a bodybuilder obviously. If you're a bodybuilder and you look at physiques and you see different physiques, one of the most impressive things on a physique to me is lower lat development. If you have those like hanging lower lats that come up and then come all the way down, something about that is super impressive to me. This movement is the best thing for it. This movement and the next thing that we're about to do, amazing. Here we go. Let's get another one. I know I said we stay light, but the 90s felt really, really easy. So we'll go 115s. So we can get here. So the next thing we're gonna end up doing is another targeted lower lat movement, if you will. So the T-bar's my favorite by far. I love overhand bent over rows, but really heavy in the off season. But right now, like I said, mind the muscle. What we're gonna do is we're gonna tuck our chest real far, almost parallel with the ground. So you're not gonna be here like this. You're gonna be here like this, and then pull an underhand, squeezing your lower lats, and then back down. Let me show you guys how it's done. Grab about shoulder width. You don't want to grab it too wide, because then you get into the rear delts, it just feels funky. And then squeeze. All right, so the next thing, we're gonna superset that bent over row with, so Monday, we did an upper chest focus workout. Thursday, second chest workout, second back workout, obviously. We're gonna switch it, we're gonna do a lower chest focus workout. So what I like doing is I don't like doing a lot of crazy decline, right? What I like doing is finding a flat bench like this. I like finding 45-pound plate about this thick, so nothing crazy thick, about an inch maybe off the ground, 2 inches off the ground. Then pop this thing right on the bench. It's the smallest decline, but when you're doing the motion, you feel that lower, inner, even parts of the upper chest really contract like crazy. So check out how I do this. I'll keep the weight moderate, and I want to go press first. What I like doing personally is put my feet on the bench when I'm back. Keep my spine flat. Keep your elbows in. Deep contraction through the lower inner chest. Nice stretch. Deep contraction. One big thing I see, especially with a newer crowd, I guess you could say, in the weightlifting scene, right? One big thing, a big error I see is people lock down the form and their form is so good, which is obviously first step with lifting, right? You gotta make sure your form's perfect. What they do though is they never advance in weight. Obviously have your heavy days, have your light days, keep things controlled, keep things powerful, but you wanna advance. If you're pressing the 40s and you can do them for 20, 25, 30 reps, it's like, you need to bump the weight up. If your form's perfect, you're not gonna injure yourself. If you're going into those 2-3 rep max stuff, that's when stuff gets a little fishy. But if you're doing sets of 10, 12, don't be afraid to push some weight, as long as you keep that form.
So what's going on with your joints now that you've kind of stepped away from the stage? Like, have you been able to recover at all? Like,
So, been lifting since I was 12. It's like second nature to me. So, joint injuries are there and I feel them for sure. But I've been blessed in the sense of I started off powerlifting with real heavy weight. I quickly, from 13 to like 15, I was powerlifting, right? 15 to 16, I still kind of was in it. 17, I got really heavy into bodybuilding. And I think that saved my joints a lot. But from 17 to 23, I was pretty locked into bodybuilding. I have small spurts in the off season where I'd lift like really heavy. And I've posted clips like on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. But now I've definitely peeled it back a little bit. I'm still squatting very heavy, but my joints overall are very healthy. But I do have some small little things. Like I separated this AC joint before. The little patella stuff from squatting, from doing sprints, that kind of stuff. But overall, it feels fairly decent.
So it's not really affecting the sculpting, the building at all? Does it kind of hinder it?
In some ways, I think it could, especially if you get stuck in like banging heavy weights. But with what I'm doing right now, no, I don't think so. I'm very on top of stretching, rehabilitation stuff. I take a lot of glucosamine, which is great for your joints, MSM. Little stuff like that. Stretch like 3 times a day. I do stretches in the morning, before I come in, after I leave, before bed, 4 times a day, I guess you could say. In between clients, I'm stretching all day long, so I'm trying to make sure I stay, mobile and athletic at the same time and able to move, just because I think that gives you a better look. So overall, no, I wouldn't say it really messed with me too much. Just kind of there. You lay in bed at night and you're like, oh man, I don't want to sleep tonight on my side because my shoulder hurts, But little stuff like that, but it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Nothing crazy.
Right.
Let's get another set. Here we go. Shoulder blades back. Back real flat. And then pop. You know what, Bronson, I was just thinking. So, Bronson asked me about the joints just now, and I had somebody message me on IG. I think it was like last week. And I try and go through my DMs every weekend. And they asked me, I was training in a sweatshirt, and asked me why I was training in a sweatshirt. And this relates to Bronson questions just now, because I always start all my workouts hoodied up, sweatshirt up. You can look at last video. I always start like that because I like to be hot, first of all. I don't know if it's a mental thing, but I feel like I'm just burning fat. But the main thing that I notice with having a sweatshirt on and pants and stuff is my joints just feel better. My shoulders especially, separating this AC joint, tore a tendon on this side. Like those little things, being warm, being lubricated, they just feel better like that as opposed to coming in, you know, tank top or no shirt or whatever and cool, you know? Not that it's cool in here, it's 110 degrees outside, it's gotta be 108 in here.
It's freaking hot.
It's hot in here. It's super hot in here. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start breaking into some upper lats, but really trying to still keep in mind of those lower lats and really stretch the whole way up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna arch up our chest. We're gonna pull this bar straight down to our lower chest. And then as we come up, slowly put our head through our shoulders and stretch the entire lat. Here we go, check this out. So follow me over here. We're gonna superset with an incline fly. Not too high on the incline, just a smaller incline, just like the decline. The higher the incline, the more risk for injury there is. Work with something light, grab the 40s. Monday, I did this movement. We did about 6 to 8 reps, 10 reps in the beginning of the set. Now we're gonna switch it. We're gonna go for some higher reps, maybe 12 to 15. So you can see a theme here with today's workout. So we just flipped the script on Mondays. I already told you guys that. So we did upper on Monday. Today we're going lower chest, and the main focus was lower lats. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna finish up with two of my absolute favorite movements on chest and back day. And it's gonna be kind of weird because it's not like a heavy movement. It's more of like an accessory piece, and that's why I put it towards the end of my workouts. It's gonna be a lat pull down, superset with a pull over with the dumbbell. Let me show you guys how to do this. You're gonna want your elbows in, take a small lean in, but never have your back turn into C, so where you're like rounded and country grabs. You want your rib cage up. You wanna take in as much air as you can, and then slowly release on the way down, and squeeze your lats. And thinking about that lower tie-in, and then stretch through the upper. Squeeze. Yeah. Yeah. Come get this movement. This is one of my favorite ones right here. Come check this out. So you're gonna use a flat bench, and here, B, come check out from the side right here. So you're gonna place your upper back on the pad, right? So here like this, about shoulder blades. Now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold it, the dumbbell like this, like in the diamond position. What you're gonna do is let your head hang slightly off, chin up like this. When you go down, your hips, look at my hips right here, they're down, right? You're taking as much air as you can to open up that rib cage and stretching those lats. And I stretch back up. Box in my way. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And don't collapse the air, right? So if you're all the way back, you don't want to and lose the tension, right? You want to be here, taking as much air as you can. And then squeeze. As you go down, hips are going down. And then squeeze. Those are hard.
So really quick, just for the people that are a little more seasoned, doing the lat pull downs, do you want to pre-exhaust your arms to not get your arms so involved in the movement, or would you rather just emphasize the mind to muscle connection when you're using that? Because
it's actually a good question, because a lot of people think it's like, they look at it and they think triceps, right?
Right, they're thinking they're using their whole arm to pull through the movement when you're using just your lats.
Yeah, you gotta really, it's kind of an advanced movement, and you gotta find the right angle and you gotta play around with it. But what I would do is kind of pre-exhaust your lats with maybe a lat pull down or a pull up if you could. If you can get yourself up on a pull up bar, it's one of the best back exercises you can do. I always end back day with those. But with that right there, if you notice I have a slight bend in my elbow, but nothing crazy. And the thing is, you got to think of like somebody's pressing right here. If the weight's right here, obviously if we can get the weight behind the elbow and not in the hand, it'd be more of a direct lat movement. But my favorite way of doing it is with a straight bar with the rope like that, and really trying to keep a somewhat straight arm, somewhat bent, somewhere in the middle, and lean in and try and keep that tension on the lat and pull down. You're not flexing your arms. You're not flexing your biceps, your triceps. It's not what the movement's for. The movement's for trying to open up those lats. It's very similar to this movement. A lot of people pick one or the other, but I like supersetting both occasionally. It just feels too good. You get a nice pump. All right, guys. So that wraps up today's lift. I was gonna say that wraps up today's lift. Chest and back was pretty much smashed. We picked 3 to 4 heavy movements. Heavy but controlled was the tempo today, and the mindset was very, locked in on the certain muscle that we're working. And the biggest thing I want to show you guys here is, we're 8 weeks out now, but my prep started really probably 20 weeks out, really. So I found a show I wanted to do. I saw it 20, 25 weeks in advance, and I started getting things in line. The biggest thing I want to show you guys is, I was just talking to Bronson about this, is I'm in here every single day. I got my groceries with me. Everything's prepped. I got my meals with me. Protein shakes in the bag. Everything's ready to go, but every day it's like very consistent. I try and wake up at the same time every single day, even on the weekends, even though that's tough. Now my body's starting to get used to it. I think we're about, how many weeks are we? 12 weeks into this new kind of prep thing, new venture, I guess you could say, into this new show. And body's starting to get acclimated, but the biggest thing I want to show you guys is you guys got to be consistent. It's not going to happen overnight. If you want to do a show, if you're looking to get into the bodybuilding scene and whatnot, find somebody that knows what they're doing and have them show you the route, just so it expedites things faster. But the biggest thing you got to do is you got to look yourself in the mirror and you got to be extremely consistent. Everything that happens on that prep to that show, whatever that goal is on you. Somebody passes away in the family, you miss a workout, it's on you. It just comes down to that. It's very cutthroat. There's no excuses. You get up on that stage, you're half naked, really. You're almost naked, let's be honest. You want to be in the best shape possible. You got to put in the work. Be consistent. It's Brandon Flihan. I really appreciate you guys tuning into another video. If you liked it, if you enjoyed it, if you learned something, comment. Please subscribe. I'm out. See you guys.